can't give up on them, because their light that shine on inspire us to climb on from all of the places we've been. And we've been incredibly blessed to be able to draw inspiration and direction from our sister and brother warriors who have taken on toxic giants and barriers of race, class, and sometimes gender to change our realities and to restore improved health and quality of life to our communities. They are sources of strength and inspiration that propel us young folks and us community folks to challenge seemingly unbeatable political and economic forces and harness enough power to triumph victoriously against great odds. And in acknowledging their contributions to our foundation, I pause to just give them their flowers and recognition and well-deserved honor while they are still here. Then there are some others who have already gone on from here, but we can't lift them up enough. In doing so, we recall their struggles, we celebrate their victories, and we are encouraged by their examples. And the push to move on with urgency is reignited within us. As we celebrate these leaders, we must acknowledge our women. Sometimes we didn't even know their names, but they have always been there. And many times, as Dr. McLean has reminded us, that as some of us go to conferences and bear witness to our struggles in public forums, there are those who are at home keeping watch, and they do so even while we are here. And so when some major milestones have been achieved and reached within the environmental justice movement, women have led those fights. They've played every role possible from the front lines to the way behind the scenes, never get any recognition positions. They have shared their struggles in town hall meetings and public hearings and shareholder meetings and on statewide, regional, national, and even international stages. So this morning, as we reflect on where we've been and where we are going, we speak their names. The names of our leaders whose sweat, work, and fortitude have brought us to the middle of this mountain. Our mother, Hazel Johnson, from the south side of Chicago, Illinois. Dana Austin, Juanita Tate from South Central Los Angeles. Deborah Matthews and Dr. Grace Huell from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Leola McCoy from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Margaret Williams, Pensacola, Florida. LaVersia Wiggins, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. Bernice Miller Travis, Peggy Shepard, Elizabeth Young-Pierre. Imelda West, Margie Bouchard, Evangelist Charlotte Keys. Faye Bush, Dr. Florence Robinson, Juanita Stewart, Dr. Mildred McLean, Connie Tucker. And our brothers, Tom Goldtooth, Richard Moore, Cheryl Marcus, Reverend Richard Wright, Arthur Smith, Marvin Crafter, Reverend Zach Lai. I could go on and on and on, but I won't because the list would just take too long. But as we talk about EJ, past, present, and future, we have to lift up those names. And there are also some other important things that we have to remember. As our movement moves forward, we have to remain vigilant on some of the age-old problems that still remain. When I think about my community in Northwest Atlanta and the Proctor Creek watershed, we are still suffering from pollution from Atlanta's combined sewer overflow system, a remnant of the late 1800s. This legacy of injustice started when sanitation in Atlanta was limited to the downtown business districts and adjacent upper-class white communities. And those struggles continue today as low-income and communities of color now have access to the sewer infrastructure, but neighborhoods like Vine City and English Avenue, who are in the shadows of the Georgia Dome and the Georgia World Congress Center, parts of the major economic engines of Atlanta, these neighborhoods experience frequent flooding with waters laced with fecal matter from raw, untreated sewage and other pollutants. And just recently, we found that neighborhoods like the Pittsburgh community, close to Turner Field, home of the Atlanta Braves, are experiencing some of those same things. So we've got to stay committed to some of those old problems that still exist. But as my Congressman John Lewis said, I believe that in the coming days and months, the cause of civil rights will become more about protecting green spaces and open land, about clean air, clean water, and clean land. It's about our fundamental right to pursue a healthy life, physically, mentally, and psychologically. It's about whole communities, not just communities free of pollution and toxics, but communities that also have an equitable share of positive amenities, of parks, of green spaces, access to fresh fruits and vegetables, healthy community design, communities that are designed in ways in which the built environment promotes healthy behaviors and doesn't prevent those. We also have to embrace new solutions. What started as a student-run effort at Morehouse College, Retrofit a Million, now levels the playing field for households of modest means by connecting them with free water and energy efficiency products that are installed by college students and volunteers, and I believe there's some folks from Retrofit a Million here. They, in their efforts, have reduced millions of tons of carbon pollution that would ultimately impact EJ communities, while also reducing the out-of-pocket cost for households in terms of what they pay for water and energy services. So we've got to embrace these leaders of the new school as well, and we've got to support them. People like Mia Robinson and Carrie Fulton, Omar Freya, Alyssa Combs, who is a student at Georgia State University, Tony Anderson, Imran Batla, and students like those who are here today, Janine McCoy from Spelman College, Kayla Buchanan from Mercer University. We've got to support these young people, and we've got to nurture their interests and keep them engaged in this work. And I know my time is nearing a close, so as I prepare to sit down, I also want just to bring our attention back to the 17 principles of environmental justice. They were crafted in 1991, over 20 years ago, but they're still important today. And I'd like to focus in on number 7. It says that environmental justice demands the right to participate as equal partners at every level of decision-making, including needs assessment, planning, implementation, enforcement, and evaluation. For all of our partners, whether they be from industry or government, from nonprofit organizations, as you respond to the challenges brought to you by communities, it's important to remember that if the community brought the problem to you in the spirit of collaborative problem solving, the community intends to be a part of that solution. And you should resist working in silos without the community, even if your intent is to be responsive to the community needs. There are new, or I guess I should say old models with new names, things like community-based participatory research that has now been embraced by some of our federal government partners. Money has been invested to make CDPRs happen. But before there was all of this praise about community-based participatory research, there were things like ACANET, developed by people like Dr. Mildred McLean, that brought together academic institutions, communities, and agencies. And so we've got to continue to sharpen those tools, because collaboration is going to be the key to our success as we move forward in the future. Thank you so much.